Okay, part two. So we talked about this, how there are mirror images in these two. Now this is chart, what, 459? Cage mirror images, P5, P4 fretboards. Imaginary P5 below the bottom string. Real string shape definers. Let's talk about imaginary P5 below the bottom string. Here's 5-string cello guitar, right? Cello fiddle. We'll go over here to the E shape reference to the cello right here. It says right there. That way I know I didn't pick up the wrong guitar. Root 5, 3, root 5. But below this string is an imaginary string, which is the reflection of the perfect P4 guitar tuning, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's a reflection of the top string, which is a duplicate anyway. I just put it there for reference. Okay, so I reference the guitar. Now let's advance in the charts now, where we have, and this is the entire guitar modal reference. That's the modal reference from the guitar. We've seen these charts before, right? C, D, E, G, A, pentatonic scale increasing. How do you do that? Pentatonic scale increasing. Mr. Capo, put it on the E where your guitar is. C, D, E, E, G, A minor, and then C again, and a modified C for the half diminished. You can call it a modified C because they're buddies, just like 3 and 4. So now I've added the bars. This is chart 460. Now I've added the bar. What does the bar mean? It means mirror image, upside down. So this is the E shape, upside down, 7 root 2 3. Here's root 2 3. Okay, but now we're going to be on fiddle guitar, fiddle cello, right? So root 2 3 is going to be like, say, down C tunes, because cello's in C. So this would be the natural place to do the open strings, where caged is going to be defined. The E bar actually is defined from the top string here, is going to be 7 root 2. Okay, like that. That's the E D shape. All right. So that would be the E shape. Now, it just so happens that would actually be in the key of F. Because when we talk about tripentatonics in the E shape, all right, in the E shape, let's look. Regular tuning. This is where your guitar tunes. The real deal E. Okay, that's actually the 7th of F. That didn't sound that right, but so that's kind of what's going on with this 7 here. But it is the E shape. So the 5th of E, 4th of E is the cello shape. So there's going to be your A there. And that's going to be the cello shape. So let's advance to today's chart. All right. Now, I'm going to go over to the A. Things have changed a little bit here. In the E shape, E and E bar, right, we were over here with that. This is where we were, but now we've got a little bit more information. So let's look. Here's the E-shaped guitar. Root 3-5, action fingers. That third on the top going to a suspended. We unwarp it. It doesn't really affect the E shape. Now we take the mirror image of that. So notice we have root 5. Here's the 5. We blank out the 6th because it's a dupe anyway. Well, we only have 5 strings on our 5-string fiddle. Why? Poor K. You want to tune a string to a high B like that? I don't think they make strings like that. They might. They might. Or you could maybe have it here and then have it just shorter, you know? Have it shorter or something. Just have part of the instrument down here so its open string is the B. But there's no reason to have the B there. I mean, the fiddle, its high string is the E string. Okay, so it's only a 5-string instrument. So there we are. We have the E shape is going to be bar. Everything's going to be bar. So here's an upside down E. An upside down A would be 5 root 4. Just remember, A is the 4th of E in tripentatonics. 5 root 4. Okay? There's your A shape. It's just upside down. And then the C shape that we go for the long C shape. But now let's look at our old C shape here. Okay, in the E we've got root 5, 3. And then we go to the A shape. Now we don't have the numbers for this. We'll have to go up here. And we always have a nice fretboard up here. Always have a nice fretboard. 7 root 2, so we've got root, this is the guitar, regular guitar. We've got the E shape. The A shape is 5 root 4. And the C shape is what? We're going to start with the, let's see, we'll start with the E shape here. Okay, now the 1, 3, 5 box is E, A, and C shape. Okay, so now wait a minute, this might be unwarped. If this says unwarped up here, unwarped. That's why we didn't see our regular C shape. So with this root here, of course we have our E shape right there, but then we've got 5 root 4, it's unwarped. Okay, root 4, 6 rather. 6 is part of the old A shape is now another E shape. And then C is going to be different. Okay, it's just going to be different. Okay, my bad there. With the C shape now, up here again. So with E, we've got 5 root 3. And then we go root 4 and unwarped for root 4, 6, or 4, 6 root for the 4th. So we've got root, 4th, and then we got 5, 7, 2. So here's your C shape, 2, 5, 7, 2, 5, 7. Instead of our little D shape up on the top of a C shape in the warped regular, P for regular tuning, we go, everything's in E shape now. So here's our C shape. It was just started on 2 because we're talking about G now. We're talking about the 5th. So the 5th is 5, 7, 2. It's 2, 5, 7, 2, 5, 7 right there. So there's our C shape there in our E cross A cross C pentatonic real string shape label from the top string now. That's the P4 label, is on the top string of the 5 string. The new